Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom, and today's our people unit. We're going to talk about people. People, human beings and stuff they do, and the accomplishments that they perform and all that kind of stuff. And they do, of course, wonderful things. And, of course, we need to comment on the things they do if they've done something really spectacular. Now, somebody who has done something really amazing is a woman by the name of Irina Sandler. Okay, I hope I said her name correctly. She is a Holocaust heroine. Of course, a heroine is a female hero, and she did something during the Holocaust. And, of course, when you see the word Holocaust, it refers, of course, to the mass slaughter of the Jewish people during World War II. 6 million people died in concentration camps and in the ghetto of Warsaw and various other places. That nasty boy Hitler, what was wrong with him? But, of course, there were some people there who tried to save some people from going to the gas chambers.
And she was one of those great souls who did her best to save as many as she could. Even though she wasn't a Jew herself, she was Catholic. This lady really had a wonderful heart, and it said that she saved 2,500 Jewish children during World War II from the Warsaw Ghetto. We're going to start by reading through the lesson, and then we'll be back to talk about it.
Irina Sandler lived an extraordinary life. She saved 2,500 Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto during World War II. However, her acts of bravery went largely unnoticed until 1999, when a group of students from Kansas discovered this unsung heroine and shared her story with the world through their play, Life in a Jar. Born into a Catholic family in Poland, Irina was raised to respect people of all ethnicities and religions. Her father once told her, "If you see someone drowning, you must jump in and try to save them, even if you don't know how to swim." Irina lived by these words, showing compassion to those in need regardless of the consequences. In fact, she was even suspended from college for standing up for her Jewish peers. When the Nazis occupied Poland, Irina headed the children's division of Zagota, a secret organization established to save Jews. Risking her life, Irina smuggled children out of the Warsaw Ghetto in coffins, sacks, and even sewer pipes. With the help of the underground network, the children were brought to safety and given new identities. What's more, Irina kept a detailed record of all the children she saved in the hope that she could reunite them with their families after the war. She kept the lists in jars, hence the play's name. It wasn't long before the Nazis learned of Irina's rescue efforts. She was brutally tortured and sentenced to death, but Irina never uttered a word. On the day of her scheduled execution, Irina escaped thanks to her cohorts, who bribed a guard to set her free. Despite this near-death experience, Irina continued to devote her life to helping others. Although it would take many years before Irina was given any recognition, she was eventually awarded Poland's highest distinction, in addition to being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. This remarkable woman is an inspiration to many.
Okay, guys, we're going to talk about a pretty wonderful woman now, Irina Sandler. I don't know about some of you out there, but I have Instagram, and one day someone posted a video about Irina Sandler. I'd never heard of her before, and it made me cry the first time I watched it, and I sent it to my family and my friends, and I have a friend who's trying to write a screenplay for a movie, and I said, she would be good. Anyway, they have done a film about her, but we're going to talk about her life story. She lived an extraordinary life. Extraordinary has two words there that are put together, extra and ordinary. So she's more than ordinary. She's extraordinary. I have heard people pronounce this word extraordinary, but I think the preferred pronunciation is extraordinary, which means you're not just an average person. You've done something pretty amazing, pretty spectacular in your life. She saved 2,500 or 2,500 Jewish children from the Warsaw Ghetto during World War II. Now, you've probably heard about some of the concentration camps that Jews were taken to, where so many of them died. The ghettos were the stage before the concentration camps. What they would do is they would round up the Jews and they'd put them into these ghettos where only Jews lived. They had very little food. It wasn't clean there. It was a horrible place to be. And then once they lived there, they would periodically take groups from the ghettos, this was the Warsaw Ghetto, the biggest of all of them, and take them to die, take them to kill them at the concentration camp. So she saved kids while they were still in the ghetto during World War II.
Indeed, and nowadays ghetto refers to kind of a poor part of a city where usually minority groups live. But back then in World War II, of course, it was an area of Warsaw where the Jews were kind of trapped. And as you said, they were eventually taken to the concentration camps like Dachau and Treblinka and places like that.
Yeah.
However, her acts of bravery went largely unnoticed until 1999 when a group of students from Kansas discovered this unsung heroine and shared her story with the world through their play, Life in a Jar. Now, of course, Kansas is a state in the United States. It's, is it right next to Missouri, across the Missouri River there, Kansas. It's very flat there. Cities include like Topeka and some other places I'm not sure.
Lots of corn.
Yeah, indeed. And I think the University of Kansas Jayhawks are there, of course.
Good basketball team.
They always do quite well in basketball. And maybe these students were studying at UK or Kansas State or something like that. But we're not quite sure here. But they discovered her story, and she was described here as an unsung hero or unsung heroine. If you're unsung, that means you're not really recognized for things that you've done. You're not celebrated. You're not praised by anybody. So they recognize, hey, this heroine is living amongst us. Nobody really knows who she is. We need to let people know what she did.
Yeah, this word heroine's kind of interesting. It's only used for women. It's the female form of the word hero, but we don't say heroine. We say heroine, like hair on your head. It's kind of different. Moving on to the next paragraph, she was born into a Catholic family in Poland. If you're Catholic, you're a Christian. It's one of the Christian churches that are out there. If you've seen the Pope, he is a Catholic. He's in charge of the Catholic Church. He's the primary leader there. Irina was raised to respect people of all ethnicities. Ethnicities refers to people of different races. We've got the Jewish folks. We've got Latinos. Who usually speak Spanish. We've got just different types and cultures and ethnicities all over the world. But she was also raised to respect different religions. Her father once told her, if you see someone drowning, you must jump in and try to save them, even if you don't know how to swim. So I guess her father just really believed in helping other people, regardless of your own life. You know, more important to help other people than think about your own life. So Irina lived by these words, showing compassion to those in need, regardless of consequences. When you use this word regardless of, or this phrase regardless of something, it means you're not considering something that follows. So you don't care about the consequences. You're going to do something even if the consequences are bad.
For example, I could say, we're going hiking regardless of the weather. Even if it rains, even if it's too hot, we're still going to go hiking. So yes, indeed, the father said, yes, you need to show this compassion regardless of the consequences, regardless of what's going to happen to you. This probably wouldn't apply to me, though, because I'm actually quite a good swimmer. So if somebody were drowning, I would jump in anyway.
And
because
you're a big guy. I think you could save them.
Although I'm kind of fat these days, so maybe I would think. I'm not quite sure, but still, yes, indeed. If someone's in need, you need to step in and help them out. You gotta try, indeed. In fact, she was even suspended from college for standing up for her Jewish peers. There was a period before the Holocaust when the Jews were kind of discriminated against in universities and stuff. They had to wear the yellow Star of David or something.
They did, yeah.
So they could still go to school, but they were kind of separated and stuff like that. Eventually, they said, what the heck, let's just take them to the concentration camps and get rid of them. But before that, they were kind of discriminated against. So she probably said, hey, you can't do that to them. They're equal to us. And the Nazis, of course, didn't like that. So she was suspended from college, which means you're basically kicked out of college, but you're still a student there. You could probably return in the future, but you're not officially totally kicked out of school. You're just suspended for a while.
Yeah, it's a punishment. You can also be suspended from a job. Maybe you did something wrong. I'm going to use the police as an example. Maybe a policeman fired his gun when he wasn't supposed to. They want to investigate the incident, so they'll suspend him perhaps with pay, which means he'll still get his salary, or you could be suspended without pay, which is terrible, but it's for a period of time, kind of punishment, or while somebody's looking into something, and then you can come back. But suspension is better than being fired or being kicked out, as Tom said. If you're kicked out, it's over, baby. So she was suspended for standing up for her peers. If you're talking about your peers, they're people that share commonalities with you. They're probably other students. Those are your peers, the people you work with who maybe were hired at the same time. They can be your peers, people who share different characteristics with you. So good for her. She was suspended, but she was not kicked out.
Okay, we'll continue talking about the story of Irina Sendler in just a few seconds, but right now we're going to take a break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们今天要介绍的是一个重要的人物，她的名字叫做 Irina Sendler。我们首先来看到第一个空格的句子写到 However, her acts of bravery went largely blank one until 1999. 其实呢，她英勇的表现直到西元1999年呢才被大家知道，而在那之前是 went largely 是不为人所知的，直到后面的句子提到有一群学生呢发现她的故事，透过话剧才让她的故事让大家知晓。而搭配文意呢，第一题我们可以选择 B 选项 unnoticed， 代表是不为人知的，所以他的故事直到1999年之前呢，其实是不为人知的。第一题的标准答案我们就选择 B unnoticed。接着第二个空格的句子写着 Irina lived by these words, showing blank two to those in need regardless of the consequences. 其实从小父亲就教导他很多呢一些很好的观念，而他的生活也是把这些话当作是座右铭，而对那些有需求的人，他展现出来的是什么？是不计后果的来展现什么呢？第二题我们可以选择一个名词，选 L 选项的 compassion， 就是有同情怜悯，因为可以从他故事看到他对那些呢有需求的人都会去帮助他，去同情怜悯他，所以第二题搭配文意，标准答案就选择 L compassion。第三个空格的句子提到 In fact, she was even suspended from college for blank 3 her Jewish peers. 事实上呢，她甚至因为怎么样，她的犹太同伴呢，而遭到学校的停学。正是因为她为这些犹太人打抱不平，站起来捍卫他们的权利。搭配文意，第三题我们可以选择 K 选项 Standing up for 就是有捍卫跟支持的意思。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody, let's continue with our lesson. We're talking about the story of the unsung hero, Irina Sendler. I guess you could call a woman a hero or a heroine. Both are acceptable. But in any case, we started to mention the fact that some students in Kansas recognize that this woman has not been recognized for her accomplishments. She's an unsung hero, and so they decided to make some kind of a college performance or some kind of a dramatic performance in her honor.
Now, they wrote a play.
We'll get to that in just a second, but first of all, let's talk about what the evil Nazis did. When the Nazis occupied Poland, Irina headed the children's division of Zagota, a secret organization established to save Jews. Now, remember, the Nazis invaded Poland in the late 1930s. I can't remember the exact date. Something to do with a radio station and dressing as Polish soldiers and using that as an excuse to invade Poland. So in went the Nazis. And of course, if one country occupies another country, that means they have invaded and they kind of stay there, just like the Japanese occupied Korea and parts of China, etc. during World War II. But in this particular case, the Germans, more specifically the Nazis, occupied Poland, and then she was the head of a children's division, something called Zagota, which was a secret organization established or set up to save or rescue Jews.
Right. You said they invaded Poland. It happened in 1939.
Okay.
If you look that up, it's called the September Campaign. So they did invade, so they had the power there, and she didn't care. I love this lady. So she was the head or in charge of this secret organization. She risked her life to smuggle these kids out of the Warsaw Ghetto. If you smuggle something, guys, typically, nowadays at least, we use this word to talk about illegal activity. For example, it's against the law to smuggle drugs in or out of the country, right? If you get caught, whoo, you're in big trouble. So she was actually smuggling kids out of the ghetto. Of course, it was illegal. And even though it was illegal, she was doing a good thing, so good for her. So she would hide these kids. If you smuggle things, of course you have to hide what you're doing because you don't want to get caught. She would hide these kids in things like coffins. A coffin is a box that a dead body is placed in to be buried. Well, nowadays, we refer to them as caskets. It sounds a little better than coffin. But back when she was doing this, we just used the word coffin. I don't think we used casket or coffin. Yeah, casket wasn't a word back then, I don't think.
Okay.
A sack. You don't see the word sack used in Taiwan very much. A sack is just a bag, guys. And I use sack more than bag. If I'm going to the grocery store, I'll say, oh, how many sacks of groceries did you get? I won't say how many bags of groceries. I say sacks. So a sack is a bag. It can be made out of cloth or paper or plastic or whatever. But she would even put kids in sewer pipes. The sewer is that pipe that runs underneath the street and it carries away all the dirty water and water from the bathroom. You know what I'm talking about?
Ew.
Yeah, that's a sewer. And the sewer pipes are the metal pipes that carry the water, the dirty water away. But she was just using the pipes. There was no dirty water in the pipes that she was hiding the kids in, so don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not sure specifically how she did that, but with the help of the underground network, people, of course, trying to resist the Nazis, the children were brought to safety and given new identities. So they took them to countries that had not been invaded by the Nazis yet, maybe over to England or something, or maybe to Canada, the U.S., or something like that. But in any case, they were brought to safety or to a safe place, and they were given new identities, maybe new names or something like that. What's more, Irina kept a detailed record of all the children she saved in the hope that she could reunite them with their families after the war. So maybe she had pictures of them and their names and their identification number, any information where they lived, their address, their telephone number, or something like that. So after the war, she could use that information to try to reunite the children with their families.
That's right. I doubt she had photos. It probably would have been a little difficult back then to take photos of all those kids. But still, she tried to keep a really detailed record with a lot of info about them. I'm sure she asked them about their favorite stories and what they remember about their parents. Because, of course, she couldn't smuggle the adults. They're so big, they would have been harder to hide. But she really wanted to help the kids. She kept lists in something called a jar. A jar is a glass bottle. We usually, we usually can food in jars, which means you harvest fresh food and then you prepare it, put it in those jars, and you seal that lid so you can use it, in a year or 6 months down the road. We use jars for that. Hence is a word we use just to say therefore, or because what happened, this following happened as well. So hence. Try to be careful with hence, guys. We don't use hence in casual conversations so much. I see it in casual emails too. Don't use it so much. I know people look it up and go, soy or something, they're translating Chinese, but we don't use hence as much when we're just casually or informally talking or writing. Hence means as a consequence or for this reason, the following just happened. So hence the play's name, which was Life in a Jar.
Life in a Jar, and I hadn't heard of that before. I guess you looked this up before the lesson. It's a movie now or something?
Well, no, there is a movie made about her life, but it's not talked about in this particular lesson. But yeah, they have done a movie in 2009. But the Life in a Jar happened before. So this group of students were really great. They were the very first people to actually uncover this woman and her story. So we can thank them. The play was written back in 1999.
Okay, good enough. And of course, it wasn't long before the Nazis learned of Irina's rescue efforts. The Nazis were not dumb. They were smart. They figured out what was going on. So as a result, she was brutally tortured and sentenced to death. If you're tortured, of course, people cause great discomfort and pain to you in order to get information from you. She was brutally tortured, which means she probably was beaten and violently treated and stuff like that. And later they said, okay, we're going to execute you. We're going to sentence you to death, to a firing squad or to a guillotine or whatever. But Irina never uttered a word. Here we've got the word utter as a verb. It just means to say something.
Yeah, this lady's amazing to me. A lot of times spies who are caught and tortured, they end up giving up information because they can't tolerate the pain, which I totally understand. I hate pain. This lady did not say a word. So if you utter, that's a verb we use to utter a word. We use it to really emphasize the fact that not one word was spoken. But you'll also see utter used as an adjective. That typhoon caused utter devastation. Utter means complete if it's an adjective, so be careful with that. Here it's a verb. On the day of her scheduled execution, they were probably going to shoot her with a gun. Sometimes that's how they killed some of those. The Nazis killed the sympathizers. I was going to say she was a Jew. She's not. She's a Jewish sympathizer. She felt a lot of empathy for the Jews. That's how they killed some of these folks. She escaped thanks to her cohorts. Your cohorts are people that you hang out with, that you do things with. Here it's referring to other prisoners. Those other prisoners who were her cohorts, people that, she shared different characteristics with, they bribed a guard to set her free. If you bribe someone, you go up to them and you say, hey, if you'll do this for me, I'll give you money or I'll give you something you want. A lot of times bribery happens between politicians, which is bad, but this is good. Her cohorts loved her so much and respected her that they tried to set her free by bribing a guard who took the bribe, and he did let her go.
Yep, they probably needed a little extra money to buy some sausages or some beer or something like that, and she continued to devote her life to helping others. And although it would take many years before Irina was given any recognition, she was eventually awarded Poland's highest distinction, In addition to being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, so recognition just means when somebody recognizes you for something great you have done, you get some recognition for that.
You're celebrated.
Exactly. And she was nominated. Somebody mentioned her name as a possible recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. She was nominated, but when we say that, of course, it means she didn't win, but she almost did.
Yeah, if you actually win, they'll say you won the Nobel Peace Prize. We also nominate people for public office. People are nominated for awards like the Oscars. Oh, she was nominated for an Oscar last year. She was nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. I would have given it to her. This remarkable woman is an inspiration to many. She sure made me feel like my life needed to be a little bit more valuable in helping other people after I heard her story. Right now, someone who's going to help you guys is our Chinese teacher. Let's listen now.
接着我们来看到第4个空格，前面提到是纳粹人来占领波兰的时候 Blank for her life, Irina smuggled children out of the Warsaw ghetto in coffins, sacks, and even sewer pipes. 她为了救这些小朋友呢，她就把他们藏在棺材、布袋，甚至是下水道里面。而她这么做，正是冒着生命的危险。第4题搭配文意可以选择 D 选项 risking。Risk one's life 也就是有冒着某人生命危险的意思。第5个空格，他在救这些孩童的时候呢，他还希望的是什么呢？第5个空格，我们直接看后面的句子提到 In the hope that she could blank 5 them with their families after the war. 他希望呢，在战争结束之后，还可以让这些小朋友跟他们的家人怎么样呢？是团聚在一起的。所以搭配文意，第5题可以选择 C 选项 reunite， 也就是有重新聚在一起的意思。第6个空格的句子She was brutally blank 6 and sentenced to death. 当她被纳粹分子知道她在从事救援工作的时候，她被怎么样？而且还判处死刑。第6题我们可以选择 F 选项的 tortured， 也就是有折磨，她饱受严刑拷打，甚至判处死刑。而后面第7个空格 On the day of her scheduled execution, Irina blank 7 thanks to her cohorts. 那么多亏于呢有她的同伴，这些同伴呢他们去贿赂这些人，然后才能够让她在她本来她的 scheduled execution 要执行死刑的那一天呢，她得以怎么样？贿赂了这个警卫，所以他得以逃脱。根据文意，第7题可以选择 A 选项 escaped， 就是有逃脱的意思。第8个空格的句子写着 Despite this near-death experience, Irina continued to blank aid her life to helping others. 尽管呢她有差一点就要死亡的这样的经验，她还是持续的怎么样她的一生来帮助其他人。同学有没有注意到这里是一个非常特别的句型 to 后面搭配的是 VING。 我们第8题可以选择 E 选项 devote one's life to doing something， 也就是有奉献某人的一生，致力于从事怎么样的事情。所以第8题的标准答案就选择 E 选项。第9个空格，前面提到虽然他在多年之后才得到认可，而且还被提名了诺贝尔奖。我们来看一下，在中间的句子提到 She was eventually awarded Poland's highest blank 9。他最终呢还是被颁给了波兰最高的怎么样？我们说得奖就是一种荣誉，所以第9题可以选择 J 选项 distinction。Distinction 本来是有区别的意思，但是呢它还常用的另外一个意思就是有荣誉，所以它获颁呢这个波兰最高的荣誉。第10个空格 This blank 10 woman is an inspiration to many。 有没有觉得这样的女性非常的特别，卓越非凡，对许多人来讲都是一个鼓舞的人心的故事。 所以第10题我们要修饰这个女性，可以选择 G 选项 remarkable， 就有非凡的、卓越的意思。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
So that's it for today, guys. We hope you get a little bit of time to learn more about this wonderful soul, Irina Sendler.I don't think we mentioned she died at the age of 98.
Cool.
So she lived a very long, productive life. I hope I can live and do as many good things as she did. That's amazing. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom.
See ya.
Goodbye.